I like to get started by just sort of drawing some boxes. So for this one, I'm going to start with maybe one portrait, just rectangle that's kind of the same shape as an iPad screen, maybe one square, and this can sort of help to find some different compositions. So this little S up here at the top left of the screen, if you tap that, it lets you select things. You can freeform draw, you can tap to create straight lines, and you can mix and match those all you want. So what I'm doing is I have the selection tool active. I'm just going to select this whole area. You just draw around it, and then I'm going to tap the move and transform tool up here, which is like the little mouse cursor. And then I'm just going to move these into the middle. So I just like to keep things kind of plain that way. So I'm going to rename this layer thumbnails. Thought I had done that, but I guess I lost that somehow. And then just delete this extra layer down here. And then because I might end up changing my mind about the frame size, or maybe I might want to move things around within the frame a little bit, I like to create another layer underneath that. So I actually might rename this to just templates, and then name this thumbnails underneath. A lot of the time when I'm doing this, because I want sort of a dynamic pose or something, I'm going to draw some sort of character, right? I already know that. But I like to just sort of get started with a squiggle of some kind. And so this is looking kind of like a leg shape to me, and you can kind of come in the back and just sort of make that more obvious. And a lot of the time, I'll probably have a lot of false starts on this as I go. So I might undo and redo a lot. If I find that I do a sketch that I just think is awful, then I'll just undo it and pretend it never happened, kind of. But you can kind of start to put some little feet in there. These just have to be super basic, super easy. Like, all I'm trying to do is get the idea across. Just sort of drawing the arms, have them looking off to the right. And because this is like a weightlifting person, maybe I'll try to make them look a little less scrawny here. Let's put this guy in like a tank top or something. Maybe some stripes. But the whole point here is just to get an idea of sort of where am I going with this illustration, right? Yeah, but it can be as simple as that. Don't have to do anything fancy at all. A lot of the time I'll like to sort of play with the composition by adding some sort of shape in the background or something, just to make it feel a little more cohesive. So maybe I'm going to do just a sort of circle, kind of drawing attention to the top half of this. And then we're going to do another one. So I've got my 3 sketches all ready to go. So now I'm just going to look at these, and I think I really like the second one best. So I'm going to show you how I would take that second sketch and just put it on another canvas to get started on working out the details a little bit better for a full sketch. To do that, I'm going to select that, or get that selection tool again. And notice I made this one a square, so I'm going to want a square canvas, and then I'm just going to select this entire thing, just draw around the outside of it, tap again to finish that selection, and then I want to make sure I am on the right layer that has the actual image on it, and it looks like I am on that thumbnails layer. So I'm just going to swipe down really quickly with 3 fingers, and then I'm going to tap copy, and then I'm just going to tap gallery, and then I'm back out to my gallery view. I click plus, and this is where I'm going to show you how to make a custom canvas size. So down at the very bottom of this menu, there's a button that says create custom size, and I'm going to tap this. And for something like this, maybe I'll do like 4,000 by 4,000. That's a pretty big size. That should be okay if I decide I want to print or something like that. And then I'm just going to name this custom square or something like that. click done and it will create a canvas for you. And if you were to go back out to the gallery, it also saves that as a new canvas size. So you can see down at the bottom I have custom square and I can use that again. But for now I just want to go back into this canvas I just made, and then again I'm going to swipe down with 3 fingers and then just tap paste. And you can see that pasted my tiny little thumbnail from before. And I could just drag this out to resize it, but you'll notice that this is getting kind of distorted in weird ways if I do that. So the way to avoid that, I just did undo a couple times, is first you're going to tap magnetic down at the bottom of the screen. So the difference is that that constrains the aspect ratio and it makes it so I can only rotate or scale at one time. Instead of, if it's freeform, I can do any and all of those things and just do whatever I want with it. But magnetic for this is going to be better. And then there's this little button at the bottom of the screen that's kind of 2 arrows pointing out from each other. If you tap that, it will bring it up to, it will just automatically size it to the same size as your canvas. And depending on whether you have magnetic or freeform selected, that's going to resize it differently. So if magnetic is selected, it will make sure it fills the entire canvas and it cuts off a little bit of the art potentially. Or if you tap freeform and tap this, it keeps it, like both of these will keep the aspect ratio, but this one will make sure all of the artwork is contained within the screen. So I'm going to use freeform in this case, but if I was just resizing it manually, magnetic is probably better for that. I think I'm pretty happy with how that's sitting on the screen, and from here, I think we're ready to get started on a full